Hey everybody, welcome to the self-playing critique here on the Atlantic City Open layout. This is going to be for both weekends of practice. I apologize for not having this one done sooner, but there is still some stuff that I am able to go over with these practices. So some of these are literally like the first couple points on the layout where I'm learning everything, and then others I'm a little bit more experienced on the layout after we had tried different things. So yeah, let's just jump right into this first point here. Now this one may have actually been exactly the first point on this layout, so forgive me for any kind of stupidity with this, but what's cool with this layout is you can actually get up this Dorito side pretty quick. It's one of those ones that you can be pretty aggressive with, and it's going to be yeah, just easy to move up into. If you sit kind of low on the outside of that tower that I had gone around, you can crawl up to this little mini W pretty easily without too much shooting cross. It's before that Aztec to that tower that I just have right behind me, actually. That can be a little bit tough to get through. If there's someone on the Dorito, the first Dorito on the snake side, they can shoot the cross and stop you from that move. I think they can do the same thing here, but it might be a little bit more difficult. I don't really have any issues getting up on this Dorito side here. Now, there was some communication stuff that I could have done better with in the very beginning. Listening now, I don't remember having anyone talking to me, but I was wrong. So that's something that I need to make sure that I'm really listening in for. So that was just my own fault. What I should have been doing is actually trying to get up into that wing. Even if it's just to pull guns, it's something that is going to be beneficial to my team. Now, the thing that I was a little bit nervous with, my guess with this one, is that if I get up into this wing right in front of me, it's pretty easy to come and bunker that guy. What we learned later is that, so practicing against like Elevation and New York Extreme, and who else did we practice against? AC Dallas, is almost letting that guy get bunkered in that first part there. So the first guy that's coming up, so this would be me in this case, if I get bunkered, it's okay, because the guy behind me, if he's alive, then he can go ahead and finish out that point. But I could have been moving up more into this wing, and then you want to play the outside of it. You want to kind of play around the outside. I should have actually stayed up in this position here. I'm still kind of blocked out. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking around, looking to see if I can find anyone, but I should have been loading with my gun up. It's just kind of a bad habit I've gotten back into, I guess. And sitting low, then this guy was able to come and bunker me. So what are you going to do? Okay, so the reason why I'm diving into this Aztec here is actually, it's pretty easy to get shot cross field, or actually I think this might have been heads up. They shot me in the point before this, running and gunning the whole way in. So if you run and gun and then kind of start diving when you pass that can, if you can get underneath their lane, you're usually going to be okay. That's just something that even when we played against DMG, that they were doing against us. So what I was doing here is actually trying to do a drop shot, trying to shoot a blind shot over this little mini W into that Dorito. What I should have been doing is actually playing the outside of the this Aztec and moving up into the tower and just trying to push that Dorito side a little bit heavier. Now they did have, I guess, this blocked out, or maybe we were trying to lock it down a little bit. I'm not really sure, but looking back on it, from this viewpoint, I should have been moving down this Dorito side quicker. But you can hear me just talking back and forth, even just kind of confirming that that I heard something. I'm not sure why I went with my gun down. That was stupid. But yeah, so I was able to get up into here. This guy that's to the left of me here in that Aztec, if you're playing any event on this layout, you can shut down the Dorito side pretty well from there, or if you get up into the wing, but you're kind of exposed. It does get kind of tight quickly once they know that you're there. So once I was able to get moving up, like I had said before, you can play the outside of this and get up into that into this wing pretty easy, or this little W, I mean. Once I saw the snake here, I was able to start shooting at him, and I did shoot this guy beforehand. We didn't have any refs. But so be it. And then they ended up calling the point. So I mean, it's practice, so it's not the end of the world if you lose. But I definitely shot him earlier. So this one I was playing more of a center spot on this point, so getting up into this Aztec here, and even with how wide open the middle of this field is, I found it pretty easy to get up into like this wing or kind of getting further up into the field. And even when we played like Heat and other teams, they were able to get up. I think Outlaws did the same thing. They were able to get up into this center pretty easily. So something that on this point I just ended up going ahead and trying. Now, I could have been talking more. I don't know if when I had gotten up here I wasn't talking as much because I didn't want them to know that I was so far up the field, because you can be sneaky. This happened actually at practice against NYX. This little W, there was a guy in there, and I tried to move out on the Dorito side, and he had been waiting there. He hadn't really shot. So, yeah. Now what I'm doing here is I'm actually correcting them. So I'm able to see that he was in the 40, which was this little W, and they kept saying 30, which is the bunker right before that. So I wanted to make sure that I was correcting them on that. Now this guy, I don't know if you had seen it there, he actually tried to poke his head out, and then he saw that I started shooting at him and had to dive back in. So this is actually a really good spot because you can see this whole Dorito side. If anyone tries to fill out, then you're able to shoot them on the move. You can also do the same thing on the snake side as well. You really have to commit, though, one way or another. If you're flipping back and forth, you're going to give the Dorito side a chance to move up, or you're going to give the snake side a chance. So if I have someone posted one way, then I'm going to make sure that I'm posted the other way, essentially. So once we were able to shoot that guy, all that it was just the Dorito side tower, which we were calling 20. So that's why I was just kind of confirming where the last guy was, and then when I knew that he was here, I started running up, and then they ended up blowing the whistle. Because again, it's practice. There's no point in just running someone down just because. So I was jumping in with a bunch of random people, honestly. So you're going to hear a couple different codes that we were doing. So the points before this one, I was playing with the Palm Beach Vipers. Then I was jumping in with Temp Bay Damages. Some of their divisional guys were out there, so just trying to practice with whoever it was that we could, Charlie and I. So I was playing the front Dorito on this again. Again, like you saw, it's pretty easy to get up onto this Dorito side. So the home or that back center brick was shooting the cross, and they can do a pretty good job of shutting you down. Once you put them in, though, it's pretty easy to move up the field. So you can go over the top and shoot back at them, put them in, and then kind of just dive into that wing, so long as no one's shooting the cross somewhere else. So I'm just trying to communicate with whatever information I know. If I hear anything, I need to make sure that I'm echoing that. They do end up getting further up on this snake, and you're going to see me have to kind of dive over and play the outside. Play the outside of this mini W. I was having a little bit of issues with some of the paint that we were shooting. Wasn't our usual. It wasn't the GI that I was able to be shooting at the event. So it was just kind of like a practice ball. So it was jamming in my hopper a little bit, but what are you going to do? So you just kind of have to deal with it at practice. Sometimes the practice ball, with it being a little bit cheaper, might have a little bit more issues just because there might be less quality control, just that way they don't have to worry about charging so much for it. But anyway, so once we were able to eliminate the snake there, I was able to get up into this wing and just trying to hunt, essentially, just trying to figure out what there is. I'm really glad that I'm not shooting this DSR anymore. As great as it shot, we were having issues with the ramping there. My understanding is that they did fix the software, but I'm really glad that I'm shooting the MacDev Prime now. For those that didn't see, that I'm playing with the ML Kings, so I'm really glad I'm shooting that. Now, you guys may have noticed that this tower started moving. That should have been a clue to me that they had moved up. So this guy ended up trying to shoot me here. It did end up bouncing somehow, so I came around and just kind of finished it, and then I'm not sure if I shot that guy or if it was someone else, but getting to their side of the field was definitely going to be good. Hey, and there's my new gun. So I honestly, guys, this isn't even me just saying it as a sponsored player by MacDev. I'm really glad that we're shooting these primes. So anyway, Charlie and myself from the ML Kings were just trying to get some practice in before we went out to the tournament. So at the event, I was going to be playing more of a front Dorito, so that's what I was told just to really focus on. So that's why I'm really focusing on that here. Moving up into this Dorito side, I was just trying to talk and see what it was that was going on, talk to my teammates. I think I was trying, if I remember right, trying a bounce shot off one of the Doritos into the other Dorito, and I think it was bouncing too high. I think it was bouncing way too high. Now from this section here, you can actually deny that snake bump from the snake 1 to the snake 2. I don't know that I would necessarily stay there just for that shot, but just as kind of a, if you know someone is diving into the snake and you can get into that spot, you can shut down the snake bump from there. So just kind of a quick little tip. Now what I'm doing is just getting low and seeing. I showed you guys this trick before. You kind of go low and poke your head around and see if you can see anyone, just because most of the time they're not going to be shooting near the ground. They're going to be shooting more kind of like waist level if you were standing, just because that's naturally where most people are going to be coming out of. So I use that trick so that way I can come around and get up into this wing here. So all I'm doing now is just essentially just being a target. Now I do get bunkered here, but that guy does get shot, so it ends up working out. It's not really the end of the world. Now this point here, you can actually use that Dorito corner as a way of getting up into this tower. But you can hear how much I'm getting shot at. So it's a good move, but just kind of know that when you come around, you really have to kind of commit and get into there. You can hear the guy behind me saying, hey, I'm doing this or that. So that was really good, just saying that, hey, I'm right behind you or whatever. That's really important to have that kind of a communication. Now you can see, I can see these Doritos over here. If they try to move from Dorito to Dorito, you're able to kind of stop that move essentially.
Hey, we're kill 1 for sure.
So you can hear me just saying, hey, we're kill 1, so that just means that it's a 5-on-4, or that we had eliminated at least one on the other side. At this point, I'm not really sure what it was that we were at. I was able to get up the Dorito side. Again, like I said, it's pretty easy to get up there. What we found is it's beneficial to kind of pause at that tower a little bit. Especially if you have someone like where I'm at now, to have them at that tower, because you can see that guy. Even if I got bunkered here, let's say, that guy behind me in the tower would be able to finish it out. I can go do as much damage as I can as a front player, and then go from there. Once this Dorito corner got eliminated, I'm able to go ahead, play the wrap on this, and then I think it was only one guy left, so or it was only one guy left, so I'm not, they blew the whistle because I think it was like a 3-on-1 or a 4-on-1, and we were on their side of the field, so it's going to be a little bit tough to come back from that. Now, recon is just something that we say when we're not really sure what is going on. Recon just means, hey, where are they? Talk to me, kind of a thing. There's that talking, or there's that shot, I mean, that I was talking about from this tower. I do end up shooting this guy, I'm pretty sure. I'm not really sure what's keeping me in at this point, because it's been a little bit. I think the reason why I was pausing is because if the snake is alive, and I try to move up into that little W that's right in front of me, then I can get shot from him. So I'd rather sit back a little bit and make sure that guy is shot before I make this move. So he ended up he was shot, so ended up being able to get up into this W. Now, because I'm getting shot at, that means that I'm doing something right. Honestly, if you're not getting shot at, you're probably not doing any damage. So you need to figure out where you can draw guns, unless your job is literally just to shoot a gap. But if you're a front player, you need to make sure that you're doing something that causes damage. Especially as a front player, your job is essentially to get as far up the field as you can, cause as much damage as you can, even if that means only shooting one guy, and then even if you trade, it's not the end of the world. I think in this point, actually, the downside with this Dorito side is it can be a little bit tough to protect. You can protect, or it's tough to protect guys coming up on that Dorito side. So you can see I got bunkered there because that player was using the tower to block him out to come and bunker me. So he actually goes to that tower, and I think they end up running him down and shooting him. So it's not the end of the world, honestly. If you're a front player and you get bunkered, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you are causing damage, obviously, that they need to come and get you. So if they have to sacrifice a body and you already shot, like I shot that snake guy, so that means that technically I got 2 kills. So that's something that would be good. So especially as a front player, you want to make sure that you are just causing as much damage as possible. So you can hear the communication here again. So you can just hear me just trying to talk and just figure out what exactly is going on. And again, getting up into this tower. This tower was pretty good. It ended up being dirt in my eyes. So the vision system. So I end up turning off the eyes here, so that way I can shoot more than 6 balls a second or whatever that was. And that my Spire is going to keep up with that fine, so I don't have to worry about that. But it ended up, I think, just being a little bit of dirt, so I cleaned it out and good to go. So you can just hear me talking back and forth here. I don't know if it was necessarily bad, me not getting up into that mini W, or but yeah, you can hear me kind of saying like, hey, I know this, but what else is going on? And there's confirming it, that I want to make sure that my teammate knows that I know what he said, essentially. You want it to be that that everyone is on the same page. So you can see I'm trying to do that same thing, look low, and get up the field. And also, if I can get up there without people seeing me, then that's definitely really beneficial. So here, I should have been honestly yelling recon, because if I don't know where everyone is, then that's not good. So I think we ended up shooting this guy on the way out, because once they said the Dorito corner, I think they said that he was the only one left. I tried to get out wide, and then I think they blew the whistle. So that was that. This run is pretty easy to make. The only thing that you have to worry about is the crossfield shot from that first Dorito on the snake side. If you dive straight in, pretty much start diving as you pass that can, you should be able to make it. You just have to get real low, just try to get as flat as possible, and you should be able to get underneath that lane. That was something that we had noticed. I tried going deep, tried going shallow, and it seemed to work best when you went real flat. So I was correcting, actually, my teammate here. They were saying something different. We were able to correct it. They gave me the chance to move, so I went. I ended up shooting this guy here in the what we were calling the Echo, which is that Aztec. Now, I should have been yelling G1 more until I heard it. That was something that's definitely definitely still a mistake.
Alpha! Alpha! Alpha 2-1 all day!
See, but they had said Weasel 2, that just meant that there was 2 people that were gone. Again, we were mixing in, Charlie and I were mixing in with whoever it was that we could. So we had different codes throughout the day, but I should have been calling that Weasel 2 once I heard it. I don't remember hearing it, so that was my fault. So I just got to open up my ears a little bit more. So you can hear me correcting him, though, because he was saying one guy only, and it was the Alpha, which was that first Dorito. I had actually gotten shot doing this shot before, snap shooting with someone out of this wing. So that day, I went and just did snap shooting, because it annoyed me that I got shot with that. So I just did that snapshot for a couple pods worth of paint, doing 1 or 2 balls at a time. So it didn't happen again. So we end up shooting this guy and kind of calming down. This is something, if you guys are playing this layout, make sure that you're kind of calm. Get further up the field, absolutely, but once you're up there, stay calm. You don't have to be snapping all over the place. If you're pulling guns, then that's a good thing. So we end up shooting out that guy, and then we end up shooting the Dorito there. But yeah, guys, so thank you so much for all the support. It is cool to finally be on a pro roster, so now I'm just trying to keep getting better. The hard work really starts now. Just really trying to work on even more of the fundamentals and all of that. So be sure to subscribe, like I said earlier, if you haven't already, so you can kind of follow me on this journey. If there's anything that I can help you guys out with, please put it in the comments down below. If you are playing on this layout, hopefully this is something that helps you out. Like I said before, it helps me out to be able to go ahead, go back, see what it is that I did right, what I did wrong. It's good to see the good, the bad, and the ugly, essentially, and just make sure that I'm the best player that I can be. So, guys, thank you so much, and as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.